Okay, hello and welcome back everyone to our series of tutorial where we will gradually learn how to build a membership app inside Five. Now this is the third video. In the previous two videos we learned how we can build a table, which is over here, which is a members table, and then we attach this table to our form, which is our members form. Now in this video we'll talk about forms more in depth. For example, let's go, if we clicked on forms and then we click on pages, and now we click on general. Now it currently shows the current page of your form, which is only page. Now if we click on field, we can see all of its fields, which is name, email, phone, and date. Okay, so I'm back into my database modeler, which is again add data and the database modeler. And here I have my table right in front of me. And before moving on into forms, I would like to make a few changes into my database. First, I would like to add a field inside our table, which we call as status, and that will keep a record of the status of the application of our for future members. So if their application is pending, if they have been rejected or approved. So let's click on this plus field, which is add fields. Okay, so in the ID we call it status. Then data type we can select as text for now, and rest is done for us. We'll just click on done. Okay, so one more thing that I would like to change in our database is that I would like to change the type of our date field. Currently it's data type date because Five filled that automatically for us, but I would like to convert this into a timestamp. So let's rename it to date and time then, and also the default display type can be a date and time. Let's click on done and let's click on save. Now let's go back to our form. We click on our form, then click on pages, click on our only page, which is general, and then fields. Now here, if you click on add fields, which is this plus button here, let's select our status field that we just built. Let's give it a caption. I'll call it status, and the display type can be text as well. After that, I'll just click on save, and let's go to our date field. Let's rename it to date and time, and the field ID can also be date and time, just to keep things consistent, and the display type can be date and time again. Let's click on save, and let's click on save again. Now let's hit on run. Okay, so we are back to our application. If I click on one of them, you see that now they have two extra fields called as date and time, which also shows that time, and their status. Now if I click on the date display time picker, I do get to select my date, but if I click on the time here, I also get to select the exact time when the person has applied for the application. But now if you make a new record, yes, let's discard our changes. Let's make a new record over here. Let's give it a name. I'll call this one Jane Doe this time. Jane@email.com. Phone number can be anything. Now you see the date and time and the statuses of a new application or a new record is empty, and currently if a user is actually inputting the details, they would actually have to manually fill the status of their application and date and time, which is not ideal. So what we'll do is we'll go back to Five. Let's click on our date and time field. Actually, let's do status first. Let's click on our status field first. Inside status, we have a default value. Now we'll simply just type pending in this one. So now any future record will have a default value of pending, but of course that's editable. Let's click on save. Now let's go back to date and time. Now inside this, if I go to default value, instead of typing in a date, I'll do something else. I'll write a very simple statement, which is equal to Five.now. Now this is just a very simple function which returns the current timestamp. So therefore, every time a person tries to make a new record or makes a new record and applies an application, this function will be invoked and it will just fill that date and time with the current timestamp. So if I click on save, let's save again, and again run our application. Okay, now when we make a new record, you see that it comes pre-filled with the time, which is exactly my current time, as you can see, and the status as well. Okay, now one more thing is that currently, if a person is filling in the record, they can also see these two fields, just date and time and the status. And ideally, in any form that person is filling, these two fields, if they are filling automatically, they shouldn't be visible for them because they are purely for our databases and our understanding. So let's go back to 5. Let's click on statuses once again. Now I'll click on display. Inside display, we have this little show if field. Now what this is a simple if or else statement that if that condition is met, then we will display the field, and if it is not met, then we will not. So simply I'll just type in false here. So therefore the condition is never met and the field is never displayed. So I click on save. Let's click on date and time again, display, and simply in show if, which is true, that is because it's displayed. Let's type false, save, and then save again, and let's hit on run once more. Okay, so let's click on record, and I can see both the fields, which is statuses and date and time, are now gone, but they have values in the back, and everything is working behind the scenes. Okay, one last thing. Currently my application looks quite out of date, so I'm just gonna give it a theme. So let's quickly minimize my application. I'll click on setups and then themes. Inside theme, I'll click on add item. I can name my theme anything I want. I'll just call it my blue theme. And then we'll click here, which edit to theme. And now 5 opens up a point and click theme editor in front of you. Now pretty much you can change around your themings here by, if you want to change the color of your navigation bar, just simply click here and drag and drop it to any color of your choice. Now you can do that for your fonts, how your text fields look, if they're outlined like normal Material UI or standard, or filled what we do by default. What you also have, if you click on the advanced section, is the entire CSS for your entire application. So you can basically have the freedom that you want here and change around the basic look of your application. Okay, so I already have some pre-written CSS over here. So what I'll do is I'll just paste the entire thing here. And let's go back to themes. And now you see my theme looks a little different. Let's click on save. Don't worry, I'll attach this theme into our description so that everyone can copy and paste it into their application. For now, I click on save. Now I have my theme over here. Next step is actually attaching this theme into the instance of our application. So we clicked on setup and instances. Inside instances, we click on default, and then we click on edit. And inside theme, we add our blue theme that we just made. Inside user interface, we have option between Boston and New York. If you select New York, your menu items on your sidebar will disappear and they'll appear on the top just like inside 5. Or if you select Boston, it will appear like it used to. So we click on save. We're done. Now let's run my application for the final time. Now, as you can see, my app looks a lot more cleaner and polished because now I have this effect, this highlight effect on my menu items, and my fields look a lot more cleaner. Okay, so that's it for today's video. If you liked our content, make sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned for future tutorials. Till then, thank you everyone and see you all very soon.